Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was streaming to the Discord or what. Um, which I didn't see your message until a little later.
Oh, you're good. Making sure everything good. It should be good. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. My computer
So
click locked. We are live.
are we formally back?
Yeah, we're formally back
And
now.
is any of that recoverable?
Yes, everything
Like,
should. I guess we could do if you want. We could do like a quick recap.
nah, because again, if like they have that as well,
They
then
should have what
let's
we
stick
had.
with that. Okay,
Um,
and we're live.
yeah, we're live.
Then, folks, welcome back. Um, so where we did leave off, where was that exactly? Because I kept talking for a bit because I didn't know if it was streaming to the Discord or not, and I
Yeah,
figured I'd
sorry about
wait
that,
until
guys.
you got back.
But let me think.
Um,
The last thing you were talking about before I went froze and died, pretty much was I'm trying to think. You were talking about there's only 15 episodes, and you said you were hoping that the episode would
be
the
longer.
last episode would be like an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I knew I went into quite a bit afterward, but I didn't know when you actually crashed.
That's when I crashed.
Yeah.
Was we were talking about like
Oh, right.
so.
I, I just think the show it ran a little too short. I'd love to see more of it.
Mm,
I'm glad they are not stretching it out though. Really glad they're not stretching it out
yes.
because with a show like this, like we had a great team. We had a great team to start with. We have a great team to learn and really care for. And the only reason I would want them to stretch it out is to learn their fates. You know, if this show does not have the guts to take out these characters, like we lost one. Yeah, we lost one. That's one thing. I'm talking about the whole crew. Think about Rebels, for instance. Rebels was left on a pretty open ending by the end of the series with only one casualty to the main cast.
Yeah. Which was
Which
yeah.
And we had a very long time break until the Ahsoka series came out, and really we didn't have a lot with any of the other characters. Nothing in the present, anyway. We had the past stuff with Hera and the Bad Batch. Funny enough, in season 1,
Yes.
where we met young Harrison Dula, which was a really nice touch, by the way. That'd be another very fun cameo to see in, say, the Ahsoka series, season 2, or however they plan to do that, is if Hera would then meet Omega later. Like, it'd be so fun. It really would.
Oh
Or we
yes.
learn, like, Omega's a pilot for the Rebels and blah, 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 and yeah. No, it'd be really fun.
Oh yeah. That would
But,
be pretty nice to see.
but what I was saying, with as short-lived as these characters are, and with what, as far as I can tell, there's no future for these characters. Like, where do you fit them in? Where? How do you make them relevant, without just continuing the Bad Batch series? I really hope that they just start picking people off. That's what I want. I want these really badass clones to just start, like, dropping. Folks, what I was trying to say before is if anyone out here if anyone here knows the story of Halo Reach, eventually I want to see the team picked apart. Mind you, there's only one very, very disappointing death in that game. A beautiful
Oh yeah.
masterpiece of a game.
Halo Reach.
Yeah, yeah.
I know exactly who it
Um,
is too.
yeah. I won't say in case anyone just doesn't know, but the spoilers, yeah, they die. Um, I really want to see this team be picked off. Like, Tech was such a high note for how, like, that is such a great standard. I want to keep seeing that. And I hope we just keep seeing the team get picked off one by one. So we know what happens to them. They are gone.
Do you hope that the whole theory about the special troopers is that they think that, like we were talking about last episode, was that Tech possibly could be one of those special.
Yeah, which we went over that a lot last week.
Yeah,
we really did. I still don't want him to be. I don't.
You want them to all kind of die their own way, and just like Halo Reach. If you guys don't know, that team pretty much dies in pretty.
I mean, I already said that. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty gruesome ways.
I would really hope that if they're gonna take that direction with Tech, like if Tech is that shadow that's hunting the team right now, that is the only reason I would say keep the team alive. Only reason. Because that, in a way, shows that they can survive more than they should. But even, and plus, I think that's a really cool plot point to flesh out, all them kind of coming to terms with that. But I don't think we have enough episodes for that, honestly. I really don't. And if you're going to throw a curveball like that into the show, I just think it's really poor timing. Like, I really don't think it's worth it at that point. Or it's such a good point that's going to go completely underrated because we don't have time for that. We don't. So, again, we've gotten over this before, and it was what I was talking about when I thought I was continuing discussion without you. I hope they each go out with their own special bang. I think Wrecker should die holding a door or holding the line, like, he should open the door for everyone to get out. They get out, and he does not make it. Kind of like a Paz Vizsla, sort of death from The Mandalorian, if you aren't aware. He did a wonderful job at something like that, and I think that'd be a really fitting way for him to go. Andre, you are still here, right? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just letting you talk.
Oh,
so you're good.
Okay,
you're good.
You're fine. Last time you went quiet for a while, you crashed. Same thing with Crosshair. I think Crosshair's best way to go out is to take a bullet for someone. What better a way for a marksman to go out than protecting someone from an assassination, I feel like. So either taking a bullet for Omega or taking a bullet for Hunter. I don't think there's enough reason to take a bullet for Wrecker. Just because, hell, he probably would survive anyway,
Exactly.
But Hunter, he's the leader of the team. You take out the leader, the team is pretty screwed. We kind of even saw that in Season 1. Season 1, they were kind of really scrambling together without him. And if you take out Omega, well, hell, that's the mission. That the whole mission's that she goes on. Because they know they're dead. They know they're going to die due to accelerated aging at this point. And then Hunter, we also talked about. I want to take away from his whole survival Rambo style, and I want to associate him more as a dad. I think the most fitting way that he can go out is dying to torture, dying to experimentation. Like him taking the sacrifice that otherwise Omega will be subjected to, and it being him instead, in her place. Or what was meant to happen to her happened to him instead. And it just kind of cements that role as him being the primary father for Omega. Because I don't think they've worked on that enough with some of the other Bad Batch team members. They're kind of doing that with Crosshair, where Omega's more of a, no, more like a sister to Crosshair. Not mother, not taking care of Crosshair, but like, a supportive older sister. Whereas Hunter actually feels like a father, not an older brother. Which, mind you, I know that's out there. And I know that's a trope in a lot of stuff, but I really do see him more as a father instead of a brother.
What would you think Wrecker is? Wrecker feels like to Omega Palpatine.
I mean, personally, I'm almost thinking the cool uncle.
Yeah, I can
Your
see
uncle
that.
blow something up. you know? Like, he's the one that can kind of stray her into trouble. And it's like at the Hunter, like, hey, guys, really, Wrecker, really? Like, I do see that uncle role. But again, I think brother does fit for him. Even though that's more of a relationship that I personally don't believe in, where it's just perfect. I don't see a brother and a sister getting along. Whereas Crosshair and Omega kind of have their own differences, and they're kind of at each other's throats, but that doesn't mean they can't come together.
Exactly.
That's why I think of him more as the brother, Hunter more as the caretaker father, and Wrecker as the, fun uncle. Because, like, hey, we really shouldn't be doing this, but we're going to do it anyway. Don't tell Hunter.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So, yeah. Yeah.
They kind of got in trouble too, Wrecker and Omega.
They did.
Lot,
that was
so.
the whole point of the whole gambling episode.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he'd be like that uncle.
Mm-hmm. And we've also seen instances where Wrecker kind of takes over as a caretaker as well. How protective he is of her, even though it's, like, again, as an uncle, like, I'm protective of my nieces and nephews. There's a lot of things, like, there's a lot I would do for them. And, especially where I don't have my own kids. I mean, that's like my bread and blood. Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna take care of them.
Protect your own.
Yeah, exactly. And so I definitely see Wrecker in that position where he can be very fun, but he can be a caretaker and he can be a hard ass if need be.
Oh yeah. So then, because I guess you think out of all of them, I guess Tech, well not Tech, but well no, Tech was pretty close with her. It was
Tech was very close with her.
Rec, Tech were pretty close. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Echo?
Echo, yeah. Echo, I think it's the only one that kind of, I think specifically this season, but it's because he's with Commander Rex, so that kind of makes more sense. But he hasn't spent as much time with Omega specifically. Yeah. But I said he's with Commander Rex, helping him save his brothers, his fellow clones. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense.
I see Tech more as like a teacher. Like we all had those teachers we really liked. And mind you, especially like as the student perspective, you're like, this teacher believes in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though they can also be a hard ass and like sometimes they're gonna yell at me because I fail a test. That's my teacher. That's my favorite teacher right there. That's why I think Tech is to Omega.
Okay.
He's that like certain teacher that like you could come back in 4 years and be like, "How's it going, man?" Like you can just be buddies with. Echo's the weird one for me because for a very large portion of this series, I don't feel Echo in this team. I don't. I did at the start. But even then, it was a really weird dynamic because you have two really smart people on the same team, and I feel like they weren't at odds enough with each other, which I feel like would happen.
Hey, Echo's got a mechanical arm that can open up doors.
Yeah,
Tech doesn't
but
have
I hate
that.
to call him the droid of the team, because we have Gonk. About Gonk, you gotta love Gonky. I think it's Gonky, but yeah.
Damn, we haven't seen Gonky actually that much in this
No,
season.
actually, we like just saw him. Not in this last episode, but the episode before. I'm pretty sure. In the 2 episodes.
I guess we did, didn't we?
I was gonna say we used Gonky fairly recently. I'm trying to think what we did.
I'm trying to think what we did too. Yeah.
But I know we've used Gonky. Like this.
I forgot about Gonky.
I've heard plenty of reactors talk about this, but Gonky. This is the first time we see a Gonk droid be used for its actual purpose. Andre, do you know what a Gonk droid does?
Yeah, it's the trash can droid. Oh, okay.
No.
Gonky.
No.
Yeah.
Well, okay. It looks like a trash.
Oh
can.
yeah.
Andre, do you know what the droid does?
Whoa.
What its purpose is?
The purpose I know is from playing Star Wars Battlefront, the classic versions. The Gonk droids, all they did was they pretty much restocked you with ammo and stuff. So that's all I know what a Gonk droid does, to be honest.
Okay, I can see where that can be the case. I don't know if that kind of still fits. I assume it would. But Gonk droids are battery droids.
Okay.
So like I believe there's an episode in season 1 or season 2 where the ship is not doing well. The ship is like breaking apart and they're trying to get away. And so what do? They hook up to Gonky and hyperspace the hell out of there.
Okay.
Because that gives them enough power to get the hell out of Dodge.
To fucking go.
Yeah, mind you, that's like I believe that's the first time in Star Wars, at least in maybe the like TV movie aspect of it, where a Gonk droid has been used as it's intended to be used.
Okay. So they're a giant battery.
Yeah, like a walking battery. Which I mean, where they use like their blaster bolts. Blaster bolts might be considered a form of energy.
Yeah.
So I could almost see that, which I don't know how Star Wars ammunition quite works, because I know there's a shit ton. There's actual bullets, there's blasters, there's so much. But if it's anything like Mass Effect, they made a universal system for ammunition in Mass Effect. That's why you use a thermal clip.
Okay.
That's why everything uses a thermal clip. It's just how that thermal clip is expended. That's the difference of each gun.
Okay.
And so if it's anything like that, yeah, I can absolutely see why a Gonk droid would be used in like a video game aspect for ammunition. That's really, really nice.
Well, now I know. Now I know, guys.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, anyway.
Yep.
Oh god, are we copyright? Anyway.
Oh god. No! No, I keep going. Okay, but yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. This episode definitely felt like filler. We do think it is Asajj Ventress as the person that she contacted, which would make sense, but if it isn't her, who would you think it would be? If it isn't her, Asajj Ventress.
See, that's a really fun one, because that's another thing I've been thinking of since they brought that up at the beginning of the episode, before they did the whole mission bullshit. My next guess would be Cad Bane, because he has literally gone out and hunted Jedi children in the Clone Wars. So he's not any less experienced. Or another really famous bounty hunter we haven't seen a lot.
Boba Fett.
I was going to say Boba, but I'm thinking more along the lines of Bosk.
Yeah, Bosk. Yeah, I can see Bosk.
Bosk could be a really fun character. Trandoshans are really fun. Like, mind you, I don't like Trandoshans on Star Wars, the Clone Wars, or any of that. Like, I don't like the TV adaptations of Trandoshans, because in my mind they're the little squatty little shits from Republic Commando.
Yes, yeah, I know you're talking
Where they're
about.
hopping, where they're hopping around on pineapples with daggers. You know,
Yes.
I love that. I love those guys. So I remember seeing the Bosk for the first time, and I'm like, "That's not Trandoshan. What the hell's that? What the hell is that?"
It's the best thing ever.
Bosk would be really fitting. Aura Singh could be a very fun bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, Boba. I think Boba would be a really awesome character to bring in for a number of reasons. One, Asajj has history with Boba. Two, of course, Omega has history with Boba.
Yes.
Because I assume... Well, actually, I'm trying to think. Tech uncovered in the first episode that they had 2 clones that were perfect DNA replicas. There's an Alpha and there's an Omega. And Alpha is who they're calling Boba Fett in this case.
Yeah.
I wonder if Omega actually knew about Boba Fett. Because Tech told the team when they were going to go rescue Omega. So I'm really curious if they even know, or if Omega knows about Boba. But it'd be fun to bring Asajj to the team, to Bad Batch, and then have like that whole bounty hunter reunion. Because Asajj had that episode in Clone Wars as a bounty hunter, working with Boba and his gang. Where I'm pretty sure everyone but Boba and Asajj died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Because I remember that was the whole point where... Because they were transporting, like, a princess or a daughter of some king to another planet or something, or to, like, another empire or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was the princess's boyfriend in the, like, rebellion in the city trying to rescue her from that train. And when Asajj realized that they're transporting live cargo, Asajj didn't stop them. Like, she wanted her bounty, and she got the bounty, because I think she just, like, returned Boba in a box, I think that's how that went.
Yeah.
And so, like, the Empire got a body, and she got her bounty. But I think Boba and Asajj were the only 2 to walk away from that. Which he had a whole team. He had, like, 5 other... Or not 5. Maybe, like, 4 other people. One was this really cool assassin droid. Or it was, like, something piloting an assassin droid. And it was a really unique model, too. Almost like David Tennant's character in Ahsoka. I can't remember his name. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
The robot from Ahsoka.
I know what the robot is.
Yeah,
it's,
I can't think of his name. Oh, Hu Yang.
The robot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I know which robot you're talking about. I was thinking of the robot from Rebels, but now you're talking about the robot. They train a robot.
Ahsoka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looked a lot like Hu Yang almost as an assassin droid.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot bigger, bulkier, and cooler, but it was pretty cool. But yeah, so it'd be really fun to see, Asajj and Boba kind of have that reunion. Not to mention Omega meeting her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Boba, of course, also goes on in the Empire as a renowned hunter, and he is clearly opposed to he clearly opposes Jedi. And I think that's his whole shtick. I think he was, like, literally tasked with hunting Jedi down in the Empire. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, And I know bounty hunters were the solution before Inquisitors were introduced in like Rebels and such.
Yes.
You know, so it would just make sense. There's a lot of bounty hunters that we have known canonically to go after Jedi. I can't think of all of them. Like, I can think of Forlom. Forlom was one. He was like an assassin droid. I believe he was a inventory droid. Like, God, what's his name? He's also from Rebels. He talks, or no, I'm not gonna try and do that because I can't do that voice. Right, not especially not right now. But I don't know. He was like an analyst droid, but he was a bounty hunter. And he was really cool. Named Forlom.
I'm trying to think who that is.
I mean, you can probably look it up. It's just 4-LOM.
Let me look it up. Give me a second. Keep talking.
Yeah. Bosk, of course. Boba, of course. Dengar. Dengar's a really fun one. And I remember, and shout out to my wife, when they were doing their reaction, we were thinking the same thing. Where, not that I have communication with them. I'm not like that. I'm a viewer just like all y'all. Where when Crosshair got all burnt up, you know, from the jet engine in season 1.
Yeah.
He had the bandages around his head. They made a really fun theory that, you know, can you imagine if Crosshair survives all this and becomes Dengar, the infamous bounty hunter, the sniper? Like, how cool of a theory that would be if we didn't already know Dengar? Actually, I think Dengar was in that episode that I was talking about from Clone Wars. I think Dengar was there.
Was it? Maybe it was C110P.
I mean, that's Chopper.
That's Chopper. Dave Filoni played him? I did not know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, every episode of Rebels at the end, it would show the credits, and for Chopper, it would say Chopper as himself.
Yep, that's
and it wasn't until and it wouldn't be until the final episode of Rebels where it says Chopper, or Dave Filoni as Chopper instead.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, really fun. But anyway, yeah, no, we have a lot of bounty hunters that could be personally. And it would be fun, but we've also had this kind of connotation before where, you know, someone who we really trust makes a communication and puts a lot of suspect on the situation. Like, for instance, we already talked about once in this episode, the Martez sisters.
Are you talking about AP5?
AP5, yes, AP5. I love AP5.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks a lot like him. That's not Forlom, if you know who I'm talking about yet.
I do not.
Because, mind you, Forlom wasn't in any of the shows so far, Andre.
Okay.
I know. Well, maybe he was in like one of the old movies. I think he was. I think he was in like episode 6, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, just look him up. Forlom.
Forlom.
I'm pretty sure that's the name anyway. God, where was I? Oh, the bounty hunter things. Yeah, no, a lot of bounty hunters. It'd be really fun to see them. Oh, no, I was on the Martez sisters. My bad.
Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So, with the Martez sisters, in that episode that we met them again in the Bad Batch, at the end of the episode, they bring up a communications device, and they're like, hey, we just ran into a couple of clones. We figured you might want to know where they are. You know, or we figured you might want to get in touch with them. And it's a little suspect because we know the Martez. I really don't know their names.
The Martez sisters?
Is it Martez? I keep wanting to say Martel now.
Oh, let me look it up.
You guys, we're professionals. You must understand
it's okay. Oh, the Martez sisters. Yeah, they're the Martez.
Martez. Okay, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. Yay.
Yeah, Martez sisters. Yeah.
But again, end of that episode, they make a communication talking about, hey, you might want to know where these clones are. And it's just Rex. They're just talking to Rex. Like, they have pulled this trope before, and I think it's so lame that they're doing it now. So unless this is an actual bounty hunter she is talking to, I really hope that it's not just Asajj. Because it feels useless. You know?
What if it is the Martez sisters? That'd be kind of cool.
No, Andre. And Andre, I'm just talking about season 1.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just saying that in season 1, they did this trick before.
Oh, yeah.
Where at the end of the episode, they make a communication to someone we don't know. And they're just like, hey, you want to know where these clones are? And like, same thing with Fennec here, now. Being like, hey, these guys were snooping around about some M-count bounties. Thought you could help them. And yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so the thing is, I guess it could be Asajj Ventress, but I guess it is. I didn't know this. I was watching a podcast, and the guy was talking about kind of Asajj Ventress's like story about how she kind of falls in love with Quinlan Vos because he used to be a Jedi, but near the end of the Clone Wars, he does a mission with her, and they kind of fall in love, and then he kind of falls out of the Jedi ways, becomes a Sith, and then Asajj Ventress.
I mean, he was always kind of like that.
Yeah, you see him in the Clone Wars. I think he's not a Bad Batch. He's in the Clone Wars for sure.
Yeah, he's in Clone Wars. He has like one episode. They're hunting the little baby Jabba.
Yeah. But then.
And Andre, I told you about all this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just repeating it. But yeah, it's a trick. So the question is like with that, it's Asajj Ventress. Like, I'm guessing she's still, because I guess she kind of does also kind of turn to like a more of a, not like a Jedi, but she turns to a what is it? She's neutral. She's
yeah, I know what you mean. I think they call it Gray Jedi.
Yeah, Gray Jedi. So the question is with that, if that's the case, with the timeline where we're at, it's the very beginning of kind of the Empire. Where is Asajj Ventress gonna be in it? Because we know she's coming. Like, where is she at this point? Is she still a bounty hunter, or is she kind of been like, well, I'm kind of changing her ways more of as a good character?
See,
neutral.
Here's the thing. We did talk about this in our very first podcast, which again, as I said in our technical difficulties point, that episode may or may not be on the channel, but we did go over a lot of this with the book that Andre's mentioning here, where Quinlan and Asajj get into this. Yeah, we all know where this will take place compared to when this takes place in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Because if so, we've already talked about it, Asajj dies at the end of that book.
Which is insane.
Like, part of the promo art is Quinlan carrying her corpse. And so, you know, if it's taking place before that, then I would actually like to think she is doing in this story the same thing she did in that one episode, where as soon as she learned that her target was a person, she let the person get away, but still got the job done. You know?
Okay.
So I'd like to think that in Bad Batch, maybe she's taking these M-count bounties with Quinlan. You know, like she is the one claiming them as a bounty hunter, ex-Sith. You know, like she has the reputation for it to get these bounties. Teams up with the Quinlan, goes after these M-count children, and are maybe even part of the path. You know?
That'd be interesting.
And I want to make a callback. In the Kenobi series, when they're looking at the wall, Obi and Leia, on the wall of like names is Quinlan Voss's name is there.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yes, and mind you, it was just his, not Asajj's. So that could be, around the time that he died, maybe maybe when she died, maybe that was him trying to escape that life.
Yeah. Huh.
So again, maybe these two are part of the path. Maybe they've been escorting these children to safety. Maybe they help make the path, which of course there's a lot of different ways that the path has started, as we learn, through all different forms of Star Wars media. So yeah, I'd like to think that Asajj is actually doing good. I really want to. I always had hope for her in the Clone Wars to have a turnaround arc, even though that never really fleshed out.
Never really happened. Yeah.
Yeah. They gave good instances where she's not entirely a dick.
Yeah.
But again, she was still a Sith apprentice at one point.
Until Count Dooku tried killing her.
Very true. Like I said, at one point, yes.
But was it really Count Dooku? Well, kind of was, but the reason he did is because...
I mean, he found a stronger apprentice.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. That was the whole point.
I thought it was because the Emperor ordered him to, because he's like, I want to see that you actually are... Because pretty much he had a feeling that he was using... Yeah, he had a feeling that he was like, oh, you have a new apprentice. Well, just to prove it to me that you're still loyal to me, kill your apprentice. And he's like, oh, with pleasure, without any hesitation. But the whole reason he got Asajj Ventress was to pretty much take over the throne and become the Emperor, pretty much. So...
See, I don't know. I really don't know there, because I don't remember that, unfortunately, well enough.
I think he did. I think he said that. Like, that was the whole reason. Like, because Count Dooku literally has been trying to do that, or he says he's going to do it. He says it even with Anakin in the Clone Wars movie. He's like, join me, and we can destroy the Sith.
No, that's what I'm thinking with Asajj. I think the whole reason he killed... Because if I'm remembering correctly... Dooku, like, 6 Savage against, or Dooku 6 Savage against Asajj. God, that's weird.
Asajj against... Elaborate, please.
Sending, Maul's brother, or as they call it, his brother.
Oh, yeah.
They sick him after Ventress. Like, if I'm remembering that episode correctly, Dooku says you are not, strong enough.
Oh, wait, yeah.
At his own fruition, like, he's the one who's like, no, this is my apprentice. He follows orders. He gets shit done. And it's from there that they do this whole fight.
Yeah, never mind. Wait, then where did I remember that from? I swear something like that happened.
Oh, no, we both have it wrong.
We do?
I believe so. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to think, who created Savage? Wasn't it Asajj?
She did, because she wanted to get revenge on Count Dooku for trying to murder her.
Otherwise, maybe we're both right in the way.
But then doesn't... No, because then Count Dooku goes to the witches to get his own.
Does he?
I think he does, or I swear that's what happened. I need to look that up now.
We are no longer professionals.
I'm gonna have to look that up now. Give me a second.
Right now, I'm like But yeah, it's somewhere in there, because I almost remember a point where Asajj and Savage were fighting Dooku, but otherwise I'm thinking it's the other way around. I'm thinking it's Asajj fighting Dooku and Savage. I really can't remember it straight. There's just lightsabers flying, red lightsabers flying.
Because if I'm remembering correctly, pretty much.
I remember Palpatine questioning Dooku, but I think Dooku still wanted to challenge Palpatine with the apprentice instead.
Okay, if I remember correctly, before I look, I think what happened was pretty much Ventress gets kicked out, she escapes, and Count Dooku then goes to I don't remember what the planet's called, but goes to the planet to get a new apprentice, which is Savage. But Asajj Ventress goes to the planet to the witches because that's her home, and she's like, "This is what's happened. Can you help me?" So the witches help her create a new pretty much Savage. I don't know how it like works, but they pretty much make Savage. So then Dooku will take Savage. So then Savage's mission is to kill Count Dooku because Asajj Ventress, that's like her. Damn, their names are so the same. Savage. So Savage is master is.
And Ventress.
Yeah. So Savage's master is Ventress, and Ventress is like, you're gonna kill Count Dooku, so you're gonna pretend to be his apprentice, and at the right time you're gonna assassinate him. Because I remember that's like a whole episode where he tries killing him and it does not work at all.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I'm glad I did not have to look that up.
and that's what sends Savage on the whole track to eventually finding Maul.
And then they team up.
Savage is like lost. Yeah, he has no master at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He needs someone, and he finds Maul.
Poor Savage, he was kind of just used at the end of the day.
I mean, I still remember when Palpatine kills Savage, and Maul is holding him in his arms, like, brother, no. And Savage is like, I am not your brother. Because, that's when his real self comes out. He's like, I was never your brother.
Oh, man.
God, Savage was such a... Because I'm not talking like his, like... buff Tom Clancy self. I'm talking like beforehand. He was such a cool dude.
He was
watching everyone else's back, taking on challenges to protect his lesser competitors.
Yes.
Which, by the way, that's a trope I absolutely love. One of my favorite arcs within the Clone Wars was Obi-Wan's bounty hunter training, or the bounty hunter tests.
Oh, yeah.
Where he has to fight the lizard dude. And, like, here they are. Mind you, Obi-Wan's trying to pretend to be this, really rude bounty hunter. But he's still being respectful in the same light. Yeah. Where he's like, hey, door's open. Don't stand around. Come on, let's get out of here. Instead of, I found the exit, y'all can die.
Y'all can just...
It's because of him that they have the knowledge in the first challenge where the weird squid dude's the only one who can go through through the shield and turn off the gas or something like that.
Yeah.
So it has to be him, and if Obi-Wan hadn't said that, they all would have died. Obi-Wan took on the sniper challenge when he really didn't need to some degree. So, a lot of fun. A lot of fun with that arc.
That was a fun episode.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very fun one. Man, I missed that. I missed that so much.
But again, it's always been an arc style I like.
Yeah. So, since we just kind of talked about episode 8, kind of let down, and do you want to know the title for episode 9?
Sure, why not? Let's kind of do that.
Okay,
what's the title for it?
So the title for episode 9, season 3, Bad Batch, is The Harbinger.
Oh, I love that title. Mind you, I have a lot more connotation to that title than maybe most. Actually, that's a lie. You guys have a religious perspective. I do not.
So for anyone that doesn't know what a harbinger is, I have the definition right here. It's a person or a thing that announces or signals the approach of another. That is the definition.
Ooh, I don't think I ever knew that definition of.
What definition do you have then?
Well, I don't have a definition. I have an experience. I talked about it earlier in the stream, but Mass Effect. The whole point of Mass Effect 2 is you're fighting the Collectors, which is a race of, it's a very odd race of aliens known in the galaxy that no one knows where they came from, but they seem to be doing some dastardly deeds and stealing people. And the person who is they're like a hive mind. They're like bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going into details specifically because people might play it, so fans don't hate me, or audience don't hate me for what I'm saying. I know it's not 100% right. But the leader of the Collectors, his title is the Harbinger. And so he is the leader, and they are following someone else as a whole collective hive. But he's really fun. Have you ever heard the meme where it's like assuming control? That's from the Harbinger in Mass Effect 2. And where he will possess a unit on the field and be the unit fighting you instead. And so I always loved that in my mind.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know. So person that pretty much gives a signal. I'm trying to think of what that would be. Maybe
Harbinger.
The only thing I could possibly think of that could probably be that is maybe something involving Commander Rex.
Nah.
I can't see it being. The thing is, I can't see it being in a Asajj episode. I'm not gonna lie.
It is Asajj.
It is Asajj?
I'm sure it's Asajj. You know why?
Why?
She has all this work with M-count bounties.
Yeah.
Their whole point is understanding why they want Omega for this they need to understand what M-count is. Something tells me Asajj is going to give them the pieces the Bad Batch needs to know what the Emperor is planning. So I think she's going to tell them exactly all she knows, and they're going to put the pieces together, and that's what inspires the finale. Oh, shit. I don't know if I muted myself there.
No, you're good.
But that's what's going to tell the team they need to go after the Empire to stop Project Necromancer.
Yeah. Okay.
I think she's the one who's just telling them the information, and no one wants to face that kind of reality, so they're facing it head on. At least that's what I'm thinking. She's gonna explain it to them why Omega has to die for this to work.
Man, they're not gonna like the answer. That's for sure.
No, they're not. No, they're not. But that's the kind of doom. That's who's signaling doom.
Okay.
I don't know how else to put it. Because otherwise, I would like to think the Harbinger would be someone more like Wolf, or someone like Wolf, where it's like a kill squad leader.
Wolf, yeah.
Like someone being sent after the Bad Batch. Again, I go back to it because I want more of them so bad. So bad is Delta Squad. Imagine if it's the Clone Commandos. They're the Harbingers of action. I actually think that's part of their titles book.
Oh, really?
Something like that. They're the Harbingers of death. Dude, that could be amazing.
Oh my god. Yep.
I'd have to see if there's any connotation like that, but I know that's been a term, Harbinger of Death. Or Bringer of Death, I should say, also.
Okay.
So it could be this is going to be a type of episode where our team is pushed, which would be really fun and really hype up, I think, the rest of the season, especially after It's again a very lackluster episode.
So you think this is gonna be the hype, the hyped episode for the season?
Hey, hold on. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
In my mind, it's still Asajj. She's just gonna tell them what we already know.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen next week.
Okay.
Asajj is just gonna kind of put all the pieces together. I wouldn't be too surprised if Asajj, in like, let's say Asajj has to meet with the Bad Batch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they have to then, like, Asajj is sitting here explaining a little bit. Mind you, the team doesn't trust her.
Oh yeah, they definitely wouldn't.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, I'm thinking like, this is pretty shady. I think Fennec gave us a bad link, But then Asajj gets a contact. She needs to go help someone. She leaves. The Bad Batch follow her because is she actually doing something good? I don't trust it. Let's go. They go and they see she's doing something good. But it's proving what the Empire is doing bad. And again, I think they're gonna get their information like that. Like it's gonna be Wrecker and Hunter stuck on another mission, another bounty.
Another fun adventure, but they'll get something from it.
They will. This will be more story, but not what we actually want for the whole team.
So you think pretty much this next episode they're gonna get the information that they want about what the M count, because Asajj Ventures is gonna kind of give them the information or kind of help them get to that kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But I just had another idea.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, we're not leaving Crosshair and Omega out of the picture. Like we did have some stuff about those two.
Yeah.
In this. I have a really fun idea for how this episode will end. This next episode will end.
Okay.
The Harbinger is the Shadow.
What do you mean by that?
So the Shadow is the dude from 6 and 7, the assassin.
Oh.
I'm wondering if the Shadow tracked them to Pabu.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you feeling the chills now?
I'm feeling it. So I feel it.
So imagine if the Harbinger has just given them their home location to the Empire.
Oh fuck.
Right? Like, dude, that could be so badass. How else would they go out with not go out with a bang, but like, even Pabu gets destroyed. Where do they have to go? Back at the Empire. For the finale.
I like that idea, but I feel like if the Harbinger is the Shadow, I don't feel like he's gonna blow up the whole place and shit. I feel like what he'll do is because what we're gonna expect is that Crosshair and Omega are probably gonna be left back because they
have to be.
Yeah, because she's very important, and Crosshair, he still has the hand thing, and he's just not accurate. So what I'm thinking is he's going to go there, he's going to find him, and he's going to kidnap Omega, and Crosshair's going to try his best to stop him, but he can't.
I like that idea, I just think it's too early.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I kind of thought, because I'm like, if they do it to episode 9, that's like literally 6 episodes more.
Now, if you did that in episode 11, which don't get me wrong, 6 episodes would be very nice for a final conclusion.
Yes.
And for a story arc. But if you do that like episode 11, whole nother story.
But the thing is, if they do that, I feel like there is going to be 1 or 2 filler episodes thrown in there.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm saying with my theory is, if the Shadow somehow figured out how to track them back to Pabu,
mm-hmm.
The Harbinger would be him signaling the Empire, I found them,
Okay, yeah.
He's gonna bring the destruction. He's signaling doom, literally. And it'll be a whole thing like season 1 finale where Camino got destroyed, their original home.
Yeah.
And now it's their actual home that's getting destroyed. Plus, Pabu, as peaceful as a planet as it is, I don't think has any place in Star Wars. You know? It's like we just found Switzerland. Switzerland is not safe in Star Wars.
It can be.
No. The Empire is too greedy for that. That's why I'm like, if the episode would end with the Shadow finding Pabu, maybe then, in episode 10, the following episode, is a bit more of like the Shadow doing recon, you know?
Yeah.
If the Shadow would do recon and actually see with his eyes Omega and Crosshair, not just following the signal, you know?
Oh, that's interesting.
And then episode 11 calling the Empire in on Pabu. And then that would do it. That would do it. Episode 11, Pabu gets destroyed, Omega gets captured. 4-episode arc. Or yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything.
4-episode arc for the finale.
Man, this is interesting.
Let me guess. You're looking at the titles, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything this episode. We'll do it next one. But
Yeah.
You know how we had that one, the one day that had 2 episodes because it was a combined story?
Oh, are we getting another one?
We're getting another one. It's going to be
Is that
episode 10 and 11.
Okay, so not... Oh, okay, so not this next episode, but the following week.
Yeah.
We're getting a double feature. God, I love that so much. I really do.
It makes it interesting. So it's going to be an interesting story that's going to be involving 2 episodes, which I guess if that's the thing, the Harbinger, I'm guessing, is probably going to set it up.
It's going to set it up a lot. Like I said, I think I'm onto something. I think the Shadow's going to find Pabu and call the Empire. Maybe 10 and 11 is the destruction of Pabu.
Yes.
You know? Like, dude, that could be really fun. And, you know, Pabu is such a beautiful place. Imagine what's going to look like when blaster fire's raining on top of it.
That's horrible. No. What's the place going to look like all burnt and in rubble?
Right? And mind you, that's just like one giant island.
That's not even like the whole planet.
Yeah, I know. Like, they do, like, the Empire does not have a very big target to hit. Like, they could orbital bombard easy.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it perfect for more of a ground invasion. Like, this is the kind of area where I would imagine troopers patrolling every single floor and house looking for Omega. Like, I'm saying, you know, Hemlock talked a big game, and I think he's going to own up to it. He is going to use the entirety of the Imperial's, like, assets to recover Omega.
Yeah, she's like
I'm thinking we're going to see at least, like, 3, you know, Star Destroyers show up in orbit and drop through.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it'll be definitely a big...
To be fair, though, we did see in, like, Rebels when Thrawn and his group showed up to fight the Rebels in the Season 3 finale. You know, it was, like, what, like 9 Star Destroyers?
Yes.
And their one prototype ship that can pull a ship out of hyperspace.
That's pretty badass.
Right? Like, that's a lot of fucking force for you know, mind you, most of the rebel forces, the spacefaring forces, like all the ships, they weren't at that base. That base was like their command center. That was like their fighters. That was their artillery, their armaments. You know, that's what that base was. That wasn't their leadership necessarily. That was just like Phoenix Squadron's home. So, once again, I could really see, like, 3 showing up. Because I think Hemlock wants this done with ease.
Yeah, I can't see him doing 10 like
Well,
Thrawn.
no, I don't see.
But like 3 definitely makes sense.
And if nothing else, even 1 is pretty scary. But 3 is like, I don't even want to fly the ship back to Pabu now.
No, he's gonna send Lord Vader. That's what he's gonna do.
No, he's not.
That'd be so cool, though.
Dude, if fucking Vader shows up in this series, I'm gonna be like, why are you? These are clones.
Yeah.
You know?
Because do you think?
Okay. What? Go ahead.
Do you think Lord Vader knows about Project Necromancer?
You know, that's a very fair point. I don't think he ever did.
Okay, so then that probably didn't happen.
But I think he would have reason to know about it, considering Lord Vader is the head of, like, the Inquisitors. Who the Inquisitors would then start bringing in the Jedi.
Yeah,
know?
that would make that would make sense, huh? Interesting. You think he would?
But mind you, this is before Inquisitors. So
yes.
One thing I'm even wondering in terms of Star Wars lore, or at least like the TV canon lore, not extended. I don't know.
I don't know either. I would
And
have
plus, extended doesn't include Inquisitors. It includes one-offs like Jade and like that.
Mara Jade.
Mara Jade's coming at some point. I'm just waiting to hear when.
Wait, you think she will?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think Mara Jade's too fun of a character for them to not try something with.
But you kind of need Luke, though.
Yeah, and there's always been these reports with, like, I don't think they're going to do the whole CGI thing like they did in Mandalorian, but I think they would then recast him. You know, like, one of my favorite fan castings, and it was talked about a lot when Mandalorian Season 3 was coming out, or even when Book of Boba Fett was happening, was, what's his name? Sebastian Stan. Bucky.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
I could absolutely see Bucky doing that.
I was afraid you were gonna say Pedro Pascal.
No, why? Why did I say Pedro?
I don't know. You know how sometimes when an actor's like hot, and then like every movie like picks him.
Okay, look, Pedro, fine man, absolutely fine man. But I wouldn't say he's hot and you have to pick him for every role. Nah, you know who is doing that now? Like, who that actor is now?
Tell me.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Or not Chalamet, but Chalamet.
Yeah.
I love him. I love Dune. I actually haven't seen Dune 2 yet, but that's because I'm waiting for it to hit HBO.
See, that's what I'm waiting for too, as well.
Yeah.
I just
haven't gotten out to the theaters a lot lately.
He was in also Wonka. Wonka was pretty good.
Well, yeah, Wonka I haven't seen. I was never a fan of Wonka necessarily. I like the original with Gene Wilder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. I did not like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory personally.
It was very interesting, but I do like Johnny Depp. So,
dude, the only reason I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is because I love the idea that Snowpiercer and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory are part of the same universe. I love that theory so much. And folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch both movies and then look it up. Like, it's a really fun theory. It really is. But no, cycling back to, what we're talking about, back to Star Wars.
Yes, yeah.
The whole thing. What I was saying in, like, Star Wars lore, because I don't know extended lore, or comic lore, or book lore, whatever. I wonder if Hemlock will actually complete Project Necromancer, and then that is when, in the TV canon Star Wars time, that's when we develop the Inquisitors. Because now we don't need to kill them, we can just hire them. We can corrupt them. Like, we don't need them for research purposes, Yeah, but we don't need to execute them either.
Okay.
That's when they start bringing them in as Inquisitors. Like,
but the only way that would work is they would have to get Omega.
Well, no, that's what. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
I think Hemlock will, in a way, complete his research.
Omega will be.
We had this discussion before. I still wonder if Emery Carr couldn't be some kind of substitute. You know?
Huh.
Like, maybe Omega perfects the sample, but Emery Carr has a DNA sequence like it that makes it doable, but not perfect. You know?
So.
Or same thing with Hunter. We talked about that a few weeks ago, too. That Hunter, instead, you know, and how he can go out, is that he has desirable effects, but he's not perfect like Omega is.
Okay.
But it's all they can get, you know?
Yeah.
And that would be another really fun thing to think about when we're thinking about the end of this series. Maybe why Project Necromancer doesn't see the light of day until the trilogy. Maybe Bad Batch will succeed, destroy Hemlock's base, and, like, you know, that gets rid of a lot of Imperial force, right?
Yeah.
I bet the Emperor would be pretty pissed and then pull out of that project. You know? Maybe we go from this to the project for the Inquisitors, because we know Inquisitors happens before Starkiller.
Okay.
But I know in season 2 we do hear Director Krennic. Director Krennic is in season 2. I don't think they talk about Starkiller. Or not Starkiller, Stardust. I said Starkiller. But you know what I mean.
Starkiller.
Because I'm thinking Starkiller base, which that's sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. 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 No.
Let's bring him into the lore. Just bring him in. Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Oh, Starkiller. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bring him in.
I mean, look, that would be fun and all. It really would. I would just worry about the effects of him. Like, if he's too powerful, or if they don't power him up enough, then he's not going to be favorable by fans and so on.
Yeah, that's going to be
right?
hard to do right.
Yeah.
And this is Disney we're talking about.
Yes, but I want to think Disney's opening up a little bit. I mean, we've got Deadpool coming out. That's going to be a red band, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, no, I believe it's rated R. It doesn't have a red band.
Did you hear that, talking about that, Deadpool 3, Daniel Radcliffe's going to be in the movie as a special thing?
So, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I remember a long time ago, there was a fan casting for him as Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, we've had these talks over the years, like years of Marvel, where like we thought we'd see Tom Cruise as Iron Man because he applied to be Iron Man when Iron Man was coming out. And I think the only reason Tom Cruise wasn't is because he was busy doing other stuff at the time. Other schedule problems.
He might have been doing his own series.
That been Top Gun?
Oh, maybe Top Gun actually. Oh no, maybe actually I don't know. I have to look that up.
I don't know. I don't know timeline wise. Mind you, the year it comes out is not good enough information to figure out when that all starts. You know.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, if I'm not mistaken, you know what began production a few days ago? Like maybe a week ago now.
What?
Nova, the series, or Nova started production. I don't know if it's a series, I don't know if it's a movie. Nova is a big Marvel character as well, at least in the comics.
Nova. I don't know who
Nova is like the last surviving member of the Nova Corps from Xandar. So it looks like a Nova Corps guard from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Nova, Richard Rider.
What?
Is that him?
Oh, I mean, that might be the, like, actual character's name, maybe. I don't know.
I have no idea. So,
Look, there's a lot there, and that's something we can unpack off stream, because this is about Star Wars.
Oh, yes. Yes, Star Wars. Sorry, yes. This could be whatever we want it to be.
Yes, but we can do that next time. No, next week is
Next
also
time
Star Wars.
on.
No, next week is also Star Wars. Okay, if next week is a shit episode, we're gonna do Marvel. No.
We could do Marvel. We could even
No,
maybe
no.
talk about the Avatar live action TV series.
Okay, hold your fucking horses.
I don't know.
It was an alright series. I didn't mind. We've had some discussions about it.
Yeah,
ourselves.
it was
But
interesting.
back to the meat.
Back to Star Wars.
I just really wonder, you know, like again, if the Bad Batch succeeds and we destroy, like, you know, imagine we destroyed the 3-star cruiser, or the 3-star destroyers and the Hemlock base. Like, imagine all that Imperial resources gone. The Empire, you know, like, Palpatine's gonna be pissed. Like, there's a reason we'll never hear the name Hemlock again. There's a reason we won't hear Project Necromancer throughout the entirety of the series. You know?
Yeah.
There's a reason we stopped doing clones and just started hiring people to be stormtroopers.
No wonder
You know
their
what I
aim's
mean?
so bad.
Exactly.
Makes sense now.
We get people like the guys in the finale for Mandalorian.
Can't hit
Beep.
nothing.
Pew. Pew. It's broken. And they just go on. And they punch Grogu. Really sad.
Yes.
But yeah, no, again, I wonder how far the team will succeed. Because I feel like they have to. Because if they didn't succeed, I feel like the new Palpatine would have come out the year after Luke and Vader killed Palpatine.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Emperor's dead. Rev it up, folks. Rev it up. You know.
Initiation.
Exactly. But then we had Operation Cinder, right? Isn't that Star Wars, right? That's when that happens.
Yeah.
Operation Cinder, where they just start purging all Imperial planets.
And that was from the Star Wars
Battlefront 2 campaign.
Battlefront 2 campaign, if you guys don't know that.
Well, I knew they talked about it outside of that before. Like, I know we've heard that name before Battlefront 2, I feel like. But then it's actually been brought up in Battlefield 2, or Battlefront 2, I should say. And then even in Mandalorian brought that up, Project Cinder.
Okay.
That was the whole point to Bill Burr's character, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Burr, which, by the way, he's a fucking legend. The guy who hates Star Wars gets an amazing character and put into a Star Wars series. I love it. I love it. But, yeah, so that was just a really fun arc. And that could be, you know, just a whole another reason why Project Necromancer never happened. Because it never succeeds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That would make sense, which I don't think it's going to succeed. And I don't know. I don't think it's going to succeed. Omega's probably going to live. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the crew, as much as we want them to die, it would make more sense. And then they wouldn't have to worry to try to patch everything in, saying, oh, well, Hunter, this is how Hunter died and stuff, and this is how Crosshair died later on after surviving everything. It would make more sense just to kill them off. So
I would love that, because that would give us so much closure, I feel like, as an audience.
But you don't want to see them work together with Ahsoka against Thrawn in Heir to the Empire?
Dude, they'd be dead by then.
Yep. I don't know.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Rex was at the Battle of Endor. Rex was already old.
Yes, he was. Oh, yeah, Heir of the Empire would have been... Yeah, I guess that is true, huh?
I was going to say, Heir of the Empire's after the Battle of Endor.
Yeah. So technically...
So, like, how many more years do you think Rex had? Like, is there a reason we haven't seen
Damn.
Rex yet in Ahsoka? Like, because I think that'd be a character we should have seen with Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to see that. Imagine a live-action Rex in Ahsoka, which, I mean, we did get a live-action Rex in Ahsoka.
How do we even know how long
But
usually a clone trooper lives?
So, if I'm right, their aging is like an accelerated rate by 4 times, I think. 4 or 5 times the normal average thing. Because, like, they only live 20 to 25 years. So, you know, the Clone Wars starts, and what? It's like maybe a year and a half when the Clone War, you know, by the time the Clone Wars happens. Right?
Yeah.
And then the war's over, and then we go into this, like, 20-year period where Luke is, you know, because what, like, Luke at the age of 19, right? Wasn't Luke 19 in Wars?
I think so.
Or not 19, maybe it was more like 21. I remember seeing a joke about, like, you know, me at 21, my parents at 21, Luke at 20, and he, you know, he's on fucking Tatooine.
It's saying that they live at least 40 to maybe 50 years.
40? Wait, is it really only double?
Yeah, because like what you're saying, the clone troopers age twice as fast as a normal human being, therefore half that of Jango and Boba. So at least 40 to maybe 50 years. So they can only go to that far compared to like probably making it like 100 years old. So that means, yeah. So think about that.
Okay,
that kind of breaks a lot.
I guess I want to know when, like, because here's the thing. I like to think that on Camino, they go from kids to adults, you know?
Pretty fast, yeah.
There's no prepubescent stage, which is why I think that's where it's got to be, like, quadruple or 5 times. You know, that's like within 1 year or half a year, they're already like 5, 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time a clone is a year old, he's already an adult clone. Like Rex, like Fives, like Echo, so on.
Yeah.
And then from there, they live out the rest of their lives.
Normally.
Because I don't know when the clone project began. I know they had 3 million to go or whatever, you know, from whatever the meme was.
Yeah.
You know, a few 100,000 units ready to deploy. I don't know how long they were in, like, you know, how long were they building the clone? Do we know that?
I would have to look that up.
Like, when did the clone, you know, how long before Clone Wars, the movie, did the clones start being created? Because, okay, once again, Ezra, I think Ezra is Luke's age, if I remember correctly. Or he's like 5 years older than Luke or something. Like, they're pretty close together in terms of age, I want to say. So, you know, by time Luke actually gets his shit together at 20 or so, Rex, I'd like to think, is already pretty old. Because I know I know he makes it to the Battle of Endor, and I don't know how long of a time gap there in New Hope and
So,
whatever the last one is.
it says from the Wikipedia, Star Wars fandom, they're saying that it was through the Camino's cloning process that an army was created for the Galactic Republic almost 10 years before the Clone Wars.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the Jedi, who was it? It was, what was the Jedi's name that started it?
Sifo Dyas.
Yeah, Sifo Dyas.
Which, that's just a moniker. Or, okay, it's not a moniker. It's it was because we had that whole thing in the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
Like that was an arc, figuring out who Sifo Dyas was, who started the clone project. That was a whole arc for Obi-Wan,
Yes.
in which they find like he's a murdered Jedi, and someone's just using his name. And Sifo Dyas is who they're trying to link Palpatine to, but they don't know who
Yes.
Palpatine is.
Which they find out later when it's too late.
Of course. Yeah, another thing I'm seeing here that apparently they're only 10 to 13 years old by time the Clone Wars starts, like the movie.
Yeah.
So 10 to 13 years, they look like they're in their 20s. So yeah, I guess it would just be, the double age.
Yeah, so then if that's the case, then technically Rex living all the way to the Battle of Endor, that would be like, I don't know if that's even possible, technically. He was one of those special clones. But I would have to actually look at a real timeline to actually know, okay, well, what time year would this be and what time would this be to find out. Because it sounds like they can only live up to 40 to 50 years, which I'm pretty sure there were probably some clones that lived a little longer. And I guess you would also have to think about it is that when they pushed the retirement of the clones, did they also get kind of maybe, I would assume maybe some kind of like, they probably got like some things that probably helped them live probably a little longer? Maybe.
Hold on.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing to think of. I know we're kind of flying off the horse about Bad Batch, but it is an interesting thing to think of.
Absolutely. But, this is stuff we kind of need to
kind of understand.
There's our lore and stuff we need to know.
So we understand things better and be like, okay, this person probably is still alive, or probably not, or maybe. There's so many like little threads connecting everywhere. But yeah.
Okay. I see what that means.
I just don't know if there's actually a thing that would very much help us with that. But yeah, guys, Star Wars, Bad Batch, not bad. I think the only other Star Wars project, for all you guys that don't know, is coming out is Acolyte, and right now it's not looking great. Not looking great at all.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a fan there.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm placing this correctly, all right, if I am, I'm looking at the Wikipedia. So the fall of the Republic on the timeline.
Okay.
Starts, mind you, this is like a beginning of episode 1.
Okay.
This is 32 years before the Battle of Yavin, because that's how they track the timeline before the Battle of Yavin. Which, correct me, is that the end of episode 4, right?
Yes.
I always forget where Yavin is in the timeline.
Yavin 4 is it's the end of episode 4. Because that's where they
destroy the Death Star.
They destroy the Death Star, right? Because it's about to blow up Yavin 4, one of their bases. So yeah.
Okay, so this means 32 years before the Battle of Yavin, at least, is when episode 1 starts.
30. Oh, really? Wow.
So in year 31 BBY.
Let me write this down.
Okay, I don't know if this is when this happens. I'm gonna double check this real quick.
Yeah, go double, triple check it. But yes.
Hey, 29 BBY Harrison Dula is born.
Hela Sedula, reporting for duty.
Okay, so I must have just missed the bullet point because I was trying to find when. Oh wow, they actually have Omega in this timeline. I was expecting it for whatever reason. Oh, okay, here. So apparently at 31 BBY, it has it listed as that is when Jango Fett begins his. He's hired by Lord Tyrannus.
Okay.
To go to the Kaminoans and get the clone template based on Fett's reputation.
Okay.
That's 31 BBY.
31 BBY.
Or actually, that's 32 BBY.
Okay.
In which I'm scrolling now.
That's interesting. So then we can technically predict.
I don't see anything here about when Obi-Wan gets the clones. But then it kind of jumps. Then it just kind of jumps into the Clone Wars. I'm not seeing anything here about oh, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, just go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say then technically we could predict really when, if anything doesn't happen to Omega, when she would, how far she would live. Roughly, give or take.
Sorry, who?
Omega,
who?
Because she's a clone.
Oh, well, no, she's not a clone. Well, okay, she's a clone, but she's exactly like Boba. She's like a full-on genetic clone.
So would then the same thing work? Or is she under like a whole different thing where she doesn't age?
She is she is almost unaltered DNA.
So it's just him.
Like the only thing different is they've probably birthed a XX gene and an XY gene of Jango, and that was Alpha and Omega, Boba and Omega.
Okay.
And in a way that we talked about this before, that's like for Omega, that is her mutation. She is a female. She's not just a second Boba. She is just a female.
So then is her technically her other, I call her sister. So her sister's the exact same thing, or is she a clone as well?
Well, we've had this discussion also in previous episodes where it seems like there's two running theories.
Uh-huh.
I don't know which one I necessarily follow. One is that this is just like this is a younger sister of Jango, which I kind of like the idea of. That adds legacy.
Legacy.
And that's why like they're sisters, because like it's literally like, not even Boba's kid, it's just another Boba.
Okay.
Maybe in her eyes, like this is just her brother as a. And then otherwise with the whole thing is, if she is a clone, she is a female clone who had the mutation, but she has the double, accelerated aging.
Okay.
Which would make her exactly like Rex, would make her exactly like Bad Batch. Probably more so like the Bad Batch, because she does have a mutation.
She's special.
That she's a female, yeah. Well, so I imagine she's probably going to be aging
pretty fast too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting, huh?
Oh, wait, is this it right here? Found it.
You found it?
Maybe. No.
No? Damn it. Ah!
Well, because I see where Obi-Wan is tracking... Okay, so mission to Camino. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Which... Mission to Kamino is when Obi-Wan goes to Kamino to find Jango. That is 22 BBY. So 32 BBY. 32 BBY is when the clones began being made. And we know Rex, because there's a whole like theory thing that's been confirmed. Rex was actually in the movie Attack of the Clones.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of those things that I'm trying to think of, is George Lucas that actually like owned up to it or whatever after the popularity of the Clone Wars series. There's a clone that walks up to Cody, and then Cody talks to Obi-Wan like right away. Like Obi-Wan, I think, just gets off one of those. I can't remember what they're called, what their gunships are called. If it's just a gunship. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I should know this.
Anyway, as soon as Obi-Wan gets off that, Cody's talking to him. A clone comes up, starts talking to Cody. George Lucas or whoever, like, I like to, like that guy right there, that clone. Yeah, that's Rex.
Oh, it's an LAAT. It's pretty much the low altitude assault transport.
So I'm gonna call it a gunship.
Okay, works. Gunship.
Yeah, I mean, it's got guns galore. I mean,
Yes,
look at it.
Oh, I know what it is. I flew those back in Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2.
War.
Classic edition.
But yeah, so 32 BBY, 32 years before the Battle of Yavin. Battle of Yavin.
Mm-hmm. Battle of Yavin 4.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
So now I gotta figure out when the timeline hits that we're after the Battle of Yavin now. You know?
You see. We might have to do it next episode. Because we are running at about an hour and 30. And we tackled a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next episode for next week, where we're going to go from there. And then maybe Spartan will give us some more information about that timeline by then. Or if not, I can even look it up too. We can look it up again.
I'm just scrolling through the timeline on my phone.
It's huge. It must be really big. Damn, I might need to see if I can find it.
It's fucking huge. I just found. God damn it! Apparently, I passed it because I'm now seeing. I'm now seeing. Sequel trilogy.
No. We don't talk about.
Okay, there's Din Djarin, so that's that.
Din Djarin. Yes. Indeed. Yes. Gideon. Yeah, Star Wars, guys. It's good.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm getting there now.
He's getting there. Okay.
4 ABY.
4
ABY is when Battle of Endor happened. Because I just found an article that was 3 months after the Battle of Endor, so it has to be within that 4 year.
Okay,
so
then...
that's already 36 years of life, which for Rex, he's like in his late 60s.
Yes. Okay.
So, mind you, I don't know what galactic standards are in Star Wars, but like, maybe they live to like 90 with ease.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, we actually will have him quiet ways into the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. Huh. Interesting. Huh.
We could see Rex return for the whole conflict with Thrawn then. Maybe we'll finally see Rex die. Oh God. There's something that could really stir.
I don't know if I want to see it, though. It's going to happen, though. I don't know. I don't think Commander Rex should go out like that.
Well, I mean, depends how Rex goes out. Thrawn was a villain to him, too, thanks to Rebels.
Yeah.
And he would do anything to stop the Empire. So.
For the
Folks,
Empire.
you know what, folks? Go ahead and think about that yourselves. Maybe you found this episode enlightening. I know we didn't talk a kind of a bleak episode in our opinions.
Yeah.
So
There really wasn't that much really in this episode.
Hopefully next week allows us to kind of be a little more creative with what's going on, but really here the only question: who is Fennec talking?
Yeah, who's Fennec talking to and whatnot.
that is really the only direction we go with it.
Yeah. But even if the Harbinger really doesn't do that much, we got
gobs to go over.
Yeah.
Gobs to go over. And a lot of theory to go over now that we know Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. Now we can kind of be like, oh, clones. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And, oh, okay. That's cool. And, huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe next time we'll be prepared before a thing.
No.
I know. Wishful thinking, folks.
Wishful thinking indeed. But, yeah. I think it's where we're going to sign out, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week on Monday.